Good morning, everybody. All right. So I want to jump on. What do we got? Memorial Day. Happy Monday. Give some respect. Or at least I do. That's for sure. We're going to do a little Q&A because I think this might be a good time for you guys. Jump over. Start taking care of that health even a little bit better. Good morning. Good morning. Where's everybody at this morning? I am back in LA. Two seconds. Email came from Mona Marison's email. Invite. Where's everybody? Hello. Hi, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Hi there. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to get some water. Canada in the house. Hello. What's everybody's game plan today? A lot of you off work today. So the team over here, we're going 7 days a week now because working during the weekends. So yeah, this weekend, I just want to give a heads up that we will be up in Idaho doing a guest appearance up there. So if you're up in Idaho, I will see you there. Hi, guys. Also, feel free at any time to ask any kind of questions. Okay, so here's a good question. Squats or leg press? If you had to choose, well, if I had to choose, it would be squats. The great thing is you don't have to choose, which is awesome, right? You'd have to choose only if you're injured and something's going wrong with your body that you can't do something. And yeah, so then I go back to it, but you don't have to choose. Now, why? Why squats? I would say squats because of the fact of range of motion is a real life range of motion, right? The movement. That's something you're going to be doing, hopefully until you check out at the end of this thing. So I would say that's the big thing there. Now I should have set up. I have a new art piece that is amazing that I need to put up there. But it's a great question, but the good thing is just remember, you don't have to choose. My recommendation is both. And on leg day, do both. But again, the reason, there's side reasons too, besides the range of motion for squats, besides that being a real life range of motion, is the pressure on the back, which strengthens the back. Again, I know that new age people think that for some reason squats hurt your back. It makes it stronger. Remember, you only hurt yourself if you don't use it and don't stress it. That's the great thing about it. So make sure to use it, stress that back. That way the back gets stronger and better. Okay. And then if you are going to do leg press, let me just go a little further on this. If you are going to do leg press, a great one for leg press is a wide stance. A really wide stance, and get that range of motion going on those legs. And then if for some reason you don't want to go heavy on squats, then do partials on leg press and really load that up. That way you can at least stress the body there. It's a good secondary exercise. We got a special guest coming in today, my boy Big Johnny. Yeah, it's good. A question for you. Do you mind that painting?
Yeah.
Do you mind taking the stuff down? I'll just put it here.
Yeah.
And then put the painting right there. I want you guys to see that today. And then also for you guys out there, give your point of view on this. It's a great question. It's a typical question for today's day and age. A lot of people ask one or the other. The only one I would do one over the other and get rid of is flat bench. That's the only exercise. That is the only exercise that I feel that you're wasting time on, especially if you're going to go off the positioning that people put themselves on bench press nowadays. You know that position where they're kind of like so arched up? Yeah, that's the only one I would say would be a little non-necessary. All right, good question though. Thanks for asking that. Let me go back up here. Great question again. I love them. I love fat burners. Absolutely love them. It's okay. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, things like coffee, stuff like that, I think is a great thing too. No, it's okay. We can leave that there. I'll take down the other pictures and stuff and then secure it in. It's okay.
Can we take this away?
Who does coffee? Because that's another one that I think is a great one also. Get some coffee in the morning, get that body going. Beta-alanine is also another great one. Highly recommend it. But for me, I'm very sensitive to supplements. So I know that I can only do like a half a scoop, a half a serving. I have to build up my tolerance. Okay, that's great. That's great. I always wondered this though. I'm always curious about this. I'm assuming, Rob, your gains from this is tremendous. and you're seeing the gains and your body's changing. And I just recommend that to anybody and everybody, because it's actually Arthur Jones' principle of training. And the only thing I worry about is that I've never seen anybody make incredible gains off of that. And then also just make it through and survive. And the whole point to training to fatigue on that level. But if it's working for you, it's working for you, and that's the greatest thing out there. So again, he's speaking about the Arthur Jones training. Arthur Jones is brilliant, man. Brilliant, man. Good morning, Alex. I would say in the last 20 years, I might have done bench press one time in the last 20 years. So, Boise this weekend. This weekend I'll be in Boise, Idaho. There's a competition up there, an expo, and so I will be there meeting and greeting the fans and everybody. Good morning. You know what we'll do is I'll come back to this when John is on. I think it's a great question for him to ask. Also, I do not know your age. Let me know your age as well. Would you mind doing that? My thought or a layman's point of view on that is if your body's recovering better, that would slow down any deterioration, right? And hopefully also allow you to put some muscle around that back that will also obviously slow down the deterioration. And again, everybody's going to have this at some point, which is unfortunate, but that's life, right? And then on top of that, will it allow you to get some kind of movement in there so you got blood flow into those areas that do have the hardware? Because I think that's one of the biggest things where the hardware is. If you can't move, then we're going to have issues, right? But I'll come back to that question when Johnny's on here. Right now, I'm doing legs twice a week. What about you guys? How many times a week are you doing? But I'm slicing and dicing. So right now, it's probably my workout week is usually like about 8 or 9 days, not 7 days. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, again, you're in a situation, right? And so nothing at this point is going to make it worse. You know, you're bone on bone, which is unfortunate. Try to minimize. And there's other things I think Titan Medical can do to help alleviate that pain, I guess it would be, without painkillers. So yeah, the TB and the BPC is definitely a go-to it. Just because if the knees are that way, how's the rest of the body? So slow down any other parts of the body that's going into that direction of wear and tear. And that goes back to the point of mileage. Let's get through training the best we can without the extra mileage. Greetings. Hello. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, I don't think anything. I think that I, besides just getting more sodium and water in, right? You're training hard. Obviously, you're training like a beast for you and your body, and so that spasm is because you're, you know, got all the electrolytes out of your body. So drink up. I'm going to also mark this because there might be some extra stuff like Hercules potions and stuff from Titan Medical that may help you as well. Favorite tricep, reverse bench is my favorite tricep exercise. Nothing I found through the years just gets that deep separation in the fibers, the thickness, top to bottom, everything. And then on top of that, it sets up the rest of the workout really, really well. So that's the one I would go with for me. And I recommend that to everybody I train around the world. So again, what's my favorite exercise for tricep movement is reverse bench press. Yeah, this here is a response to the question earlier, squats or leg press. Again, yeah, I'm with you on squats. If you can mentally handle that and want to do that, but leg press is a great exercise. But again, yeah, if you can, try to squat as long as you possibly can for everybody. Okay, so that's it's in the wrist also. So that's yeah, you definitely got to do the BPC and the TB because you need those wrists, and the movement in those wrists is so important. And that's another one I think is great for Johnny to answer. And speaking of Johnny, look at this stud.
How you guys doing? Happy Memorial Day.
Hey, happy Memorial Day, buddy. We got some good hitters for you this morning already. This one's a great one. Here's part of his, and I want to go back up to his question earlier too. One of our military men.
How can I overcome the barrier of hardware? Mike, I've got hardware in my body from a crash 7 years ago. It ended my military career, but I've started lifting again. I have degenerative disc disease. Could a cycle help this, or would I wear out? Okay, all right. So listen, if you have degenerative disc disease, right, then you want to try to combat this as best as possible. With this and being the crash 7 years, there's some different things you're going to want to look at. One, obviously healing peptides. I think for chronic or acute injuries in any situation or scenario, these are going to be the best route to go. Just for the most natural way to try to help the body repair itself, try to get more blood to the injured areas, and then try and be preventative for future if possible. But, when we start looking at this, what can really help him? So, being like this, I would look at some sort of growth hormone peptide, something that's going to help with the body more recover. It's going to work with the body too as well, try to slow down this disease. So, anything from testosterone, CJC, mastomerelin, if you're a good eater and stuff like that, and you're trying to keep the weight on and put weight on MK, as far as that goes, testosterone. Now, testosterone is going to help if you've been in an accident of some sort, you've had a head injury, things aren't feeling right, or you have something like this. It's good to get your blood checked because testosterone can obviously help this if your testosterone is lower. It's not optimal. So, that's another route I would look at. I would look at some healing peptides, growth hormone peptide, and then obviously I would look at testosterone replacement therapy. Do blood work obviously first, see if it's needed, see where you're at, and then make that decision. But I think that would be the best route to go.
I just want to add to this. I think there's some things that a lot of people won't realize is he's got the hardware. First of all, thank you for serving and doing what you do, man. There's nothing to me and my family that it's you guys that make America great and allow us to be here, and the ones before you and before you and before you. So thank you, especially on today. And then blood to locations, like at some everybody's going to have some kind of disc disease. It's going to deteriorate, which is unfortunate. Best things to do is strengthen the muscles around it to slow it down. So like Johnny just said, maybe right now that's a great time for your tests to come up to allow you to feel more energetic to work out. So it's like it starts here, you doing a team up with Titan Medical, and then you start the protocol, and then you feel better, you train more, you slow down the disease, and then you get, more muscle to slow it down even more, and so on and so on. So it's a really cool combating the situations. And then John, his wrist is where some of the metal is. And so we were just talking to Michael Beach, right? And he had a car accident where he smashed his wrist, and it minimizes. It's the weirdest thing. That wrist is so important in life.
Oh, yeah. Any joint area, man, your wrist, your elbow, your shoulder, your knees, they're all important. And I mean, especially your wrist, right? You take your wrist out, you're not doing bicep curls, you're not doing anything, tricep pull downs, you're not doing shoulder. I mean, think about it. Your wrist is everything. I mean, driving, daily, things in your routine, your quality of life suffers.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Amazing. So where would he do BPC and TB? Would he shoot it into the wrist?
He would shoot to the closest area nearest it. And then the wrist is like,
let me get rid of this here.
There's really no skin on the wrist, right? Especially if you don't have a lot of weight on you. So the best possible thing is you could get a chip clip and go in here subcutaneous.
Chip clip.
That's it. Honestly, that's the little special secret workaround for hard injected areas that you can't pinch, and inject at the same time while you're doing it. Sterilize that little chip clip. And one of my buddies who's a patient actually brought this to me, because he was talking about his elbow and how to get to his elbow and how can he pull the subcutaneous area and then inject at the same time. And that was getting a little chip clip, sterilizing the chip clip, putting it on the area, pulling the skin up, and then being able to inject in that area. So I think that's going to be your best bet, closest to the wrist. I've done this with multiple patients in the wrist area because a wrist is an area that gets injured a lot. It really does. In multiple sports, in daily activities, this can get injured. And then, how do you go about doing that? So that's the best way to go about doing it. And it's helped a lot of different people, from carpal tunnel all the way from people that have hardware in their wrists like my dad.
I love that. Great question. Again, thanks for serving. And then it helps everybody because a lot of people have that issue as well, working on computers nowadays.
Yep. Carpal tunnel is definitely a thing for sure. People have to get surgeries and all types of different things from this. So,
I thought this was a great one for you because would Hercules Potion and those things help? He's obviously training hard, right?
Yeah.
And he's getting rid of those electrolytes and everything.
Yep.
What's some suggestions?
Sure. I've been experienced back spasms after lifting. What should I do differently? So at this point, this could be something differently to add into it, like Hercules Potion, even like Torium there for spasming and all that. There's a lot of great things that you could get. This is definitely a recovery thing, I think. As far as that goes, I think Hercules Potion, our Titan Strong, which are branched chain amino acids, will be another good one to add to the mix here, and I think would help tremendously.
Try the I'll do the Hercules Potion, and I'll do it right now just because I'm I got this huge thing I need to look like better than Dolph Lundgren in Rocky IV by June 10th. And so I'm doing EAAs and Hercules Potion
Yep.
Twice a day. right now, just to kind of give me just a little bit more oomph, because I can't get the oomph from food right now because it's such a deficit.
Right.
So, and then I'm training so hard. So this is also helping me there. And then also my body's recovering better.
Yes.
And again, I think all of us train as hard as we think we can for ourselves, right? At the end of the day. And then, so if we can get 1% more from something like this and recover from it,
huge. It's game changer for sure.
Right.
Hercules Potion is one of the best things ever. I've never trained. I mean, I've had things where I'm like, I have to train with this. And that's definitely one where I have to train with it. It's got so many benefits for training or just recovery aspects there. So, I mean, I think it's definitely a game changer. It's all natural to the body. It's going to be something you want to add into your regimen daily if you can. And if you can do it double day, 2 times a day, that's even better for sure. It's going to be better for everything all in for sure. Your training, your recovery, and getting your results.
And just for anybody that's there, I'm doing it double right now because of my goal. And then I'll go back down to 1. And so like Johnny just says, if you can do twice, do it. And do it for a portion of time. And then you can back down to 1. I think a good discussion today, Johnny, would be there's that added stuff that you can do from Titan Medical, right? Mm-hmm. And Hercules Potion is one of those, and so many other things. But we can always go back to the basic fundamentals, because maybe they financially can't do something or something. And so I want you guys to understand first, the reason why my team went to Titan Medical is because they do, which I thought was awesome. And this is not John. This is how the company runs. It is that they do the minimal to make sure that you can be great. And then if you want to do more, then you guys have that discussion.
Right.
But other companies, be careful. I say this over and over again, and I'll continue to say this. Other companies upsell you. And I get it. They're trying to be business. They're trying to make their money.
Right.
Problem is, there's a difference between trying to make money and trying to help people.
Right.
And helping people is how little can you do and still get better and survive and financially do this, compared to just do everything and spend all the money. And it's like, that's not real life.
No, it's definitely unrealistic for sure. I mean, for us, we want to give you the most minimal to give you the best result, right? So minimal dose, best result all the way around, through and through. I mean, obviously, listen, I don't want to take as many things if I don't need to, right? And nobody should. You should want to just be optimal, and you want to do the best you possibly can. And what we try to do is we try to find what's going to be the best possible regimen for a patient, best financial situation for a patient, so it could be sustainable going forward too as well, right? It's not like a home run got hit on a patient. Now they've got 1 month, and that's going to make the major life changes for them. Great. It's great for the business, great for the revenue, made $10,000 that month. But is the patient going to come back? Is the patient going to be happy? Is the patient getting results? Are you doing the right thing by the patient? And that's what we strive to do. We want to do the best possible thing for the patient, health-wise, result-wise. So at that point, like, we do what we're supposed to do instead of being, all right, well, you need to take 20 different things. Well, why am I taking these 20 different things? What's really going to work for me? Is there some sort of explanation for a patient? And some people wouldn't. Like, if I ask some patients, I go to some places, I'm like, hey, what are you taking? Well, I'm taking this, this, and this, and this. I'm like, well, why? Like, I don't know. Well, they told me to take this, and that's why. Like, we should have some explanation of why you're taking. You should have some understanding of why you're taking it and what it's going to do for you, and what are the positive results and what could be a negative result that comes from it. So you should have all your options. Somebody should definitely be able to explain these things to you if you're going somewhere else. If you are going somewhere else, you can know what I'm talking about. And at that point, you want somebody that's going to be there for you and that's going to do the right thing by you, because we're talking about your health. We're not talking about pizzas getting delivered to your house. Go to pizzas. You know what? We don't eat them. You know, we're going to throw them
That
away.
sounds good though right now.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Okay.
But you know, I mean, that's what it is. So I do think you know, people should definitely understand that listen, you know, there's a lot of places out there, but are these places going to do the right thing for you, by you, and are you going to get the right results, and are you going to have somebody that's monitoring you properly? You know, that's the biggest thing that I see from patients that come from other places. They don't get monitored properly, and they wonder why. Like when we say like, hey, listen, we're going to blood test you at least twice a year. Right? Well, I only got blood tested once to the other place, and why do I have to get two? And then you explain to them, like, listen, one, we want to check and make sure everything is dialed in. Two, we want to make sure that you're okay. Because if you're taking testosterone or any sort of androgen, we know that hemoglobin, hematocrit, and blood cell counts, like red blood cells, can go higher. And then if these do go higher, you're going to be at risk for certain things that could happen cardiovascular-wise. And we don't want that. You know, nobody wants that. Everybody wants to, you know, live good, live strong, and not have to worry about other complications that could happen. And that's kind of what could happen with testosterone or any other androgen. You know, I seen a guy right online, and it's kind of, you know, guy had kind of a point, I guess. He said steroids have been around forever, right? People have been doing steroids for a long time, testosterone, all other steroids. So why is everybody bringing up red blood cell count, hemoglobin, hematocrit nowadays? And the guys back in, let's say, the 80s were taking testosterone and other androgens, but they weren't talking about these things. And the reason they weren't talking, because they didn't have the information. That's the big thing. As we learn, we have more information, and we can be smarter about how we're doing these things. Before, in the past, they didn't have this information. They didn't have all these tools. And at that point, they didn't have the education, and that's kind of why it never got done. So, you know, as we go along and we're learning more about these things, learning more how it interacts with the body, we can be safer, right, and live a good quality of life by utilizing these tools and not have them be dangerous to our health.
Johnny's just freaking hitting the home runs today.
All
Dang.
right. Yeah, it's been a big one. So
you got some sleep.
Yeah, you know, I definitely, you know, I came back last night. I went to sleep, and you know, I've been up early, so I guess that's the other thing to it. But yeah. So this guy Haskell asked, he said, "Is there a peptide that can replace a cortisone shot?" So there's no peptide that can do what a cortisone shot does, but is there something that can help like a cortisone shot? Yes. So when we talk about BPC and TB500,
can you go into just the breakdown first of what the cortisone shot is for and why people do these?
Sure. So I do cortisone shots too as well. So cortisone shot, corticosteroids. So you have two different types of steroids. You have anabolic steroids and you have corticosteroids. Corticosteroids are more for like inflammation, damage, and stuff like that in the body. They're not going to help you build muscle or anything like that. Totally different. Okay. So we talk about steroids. Not all steroids are the same. So when we talk about cortisone is something that you inject in the shoulder. Now, what does cortisone do? Cortisone takes the inflammation away from the area and basically numbs it out. So if you have shoulder pain or knee pain or anything like that, cortisone can mask that pain and take down the inflammation in that area. So it can help. It can help for a couple months. It can help for only a week. It really depends on the person. Usually it lasts for a couple months. I would say a month and a half, maybe two. I get some good relief in the shoulder area where I don't feel it as much. But, you know, what comes into play every single day? Because when I sleep on my shoulders, that's when I get pain and I wake up in the morning every single day. And that's kind of where I go with BBC 157, TB500 to take away the inflammation in the area. But cortisone can work, but cortisone is not the ultimate end-all be-all. This is something you can only take maybe 3 to 4 times a year, because if not, you can cause deterioration in the areas that of where you're injecting to as well with this corticosteroid. So, and then the other point of it is a lot of people get these cortisone shots, and now they don't have no pain. So what do? They act like they have no pain. They go to the gym, they put as much weight on as they possibly can. Let's say it's a shoulder. They go bench, 400 pounds, right? And oh man, my shoulder feels great. Oh, I don't feel no pain. Well, you're doing more damage to the area. You can't feel it because you've masked that pain so much, but the damage is still in there. Whatever is wrong is not going to go away. It's not a healer. It's not something that's going to heal. It's not something that's going to bring blood to the area and help possibly heal. That's where BPC 157, TB 500 have the leg up. So cortisone is good. It's another tool, but it's not something that's sustainable either. It's something that will get you by for a period of time, but you're going to have to look for other things to do. You can go on, cortisone. I've been on cortisone for a couple of years now. As far as that goes, I don't overdo cortisone. And I always remember, hey, listen, I've got cortisone in my shoulder. I'm not going to go be an idiot in the gym or ego lift. I'm going to make sure that I'm sticking to what I need to do. So that's the best way I can say it. Like, you see a player that gets injured on, let's say, football, basketball. They've got an injury. They go in the back, they get a cortisone shot, they come out and they play. It's something that's short-term, short-lived. And at that point, I would look at some peptides like BPC and TB to try to heal those areas. If it's unhealable like me, where I need a total shoulder replacement, you've got to deal with some of these different things. Use these tools until you can really get it fixed, which I will in the future. I just don't know when.
Well, hopefully I get to see you Father's Day weekend.
Me too. I'm working on that too because I'd really like to get those stem cells, which is another crazy thing, Mike. So I've just learned that the state of Florida is the only state in the United States where you can now do those same stem cells that you can do out of the country. It's the only state in the United States that allows it right now. So it's really, really cool. So we need to talk to Rejuvistem to Florida so we can have more people come and go do it.
You need to open up a shop. You got enough room there.
Yes.
That's a team up that must happen.
Yeah. So it's
really cool, but moly, that is,
it's
great.
It is. It really is.
Listen, I know that when it comes to something like a cortisol shot or masking pain or like Vicodin or something, I know I can't go down that road because I'm the idiot that will freaking do exactly what you said. I will put 500 on something and just And so I know for me, I don't want to do that, and so I stay with the BPC and the TB 500. And the PRP and the stem cell, all these things for anybody out there, because I'm one of those old school guys that always heard, and then I saw my mom use cortisol shots. Mm-hmm. I saw how it does mask it and all that. Sure. And everybody's different, obviously, how your body utilizes this. But I also see how it deteriorated those areas. And so being in the health and fitness industry as long as I have, I've seen guys, mask it for a moment, but the downside seemed to be worse.
Yep.
And again, for me, my recommendation to anybody out there is the peptides.
Yep.
First.
Yep.
Because it's also too, it's very financial. You can do
Absolutely.
Yeah, very simple. It doesn't break you in any world. And then on top of that, if you can step it up every once in a while, again, this is added to, not replace of. I'm always BPC and TB 500.
Me
365.
Too. Me too.
That's it.
Yeah.
And there's times I double.
Yep.
When I know I'm grinding, again, I always talk about if my body is not helping me recover, then I have to do that. Right. So the diet is not allowing me to recover. And so I make sure to double that during those hardcore times, like right now. And so, it's like Mona's like, hey, Titan Medical, I need this. Get here. So just for anybody out there, there's times that I do it, and I recommend to you too, is if you can afford it, do that and double up on it. And then every 6 months or something, do PRP. And then if you can, and I know that now stem cell is expensive somewhat, sure. But again, I'm gonna pay to keep my body healthy as long as I can, the best it can, relative to going out and getting a new car and this and that. So, but that's just me. That's how I feel about it.
Right.
I don't mind driving a Vita Bug as long as I can go train and squat and deadlift and bench. And so, at the end of the day,
I agree with you. The body's the most important thing. It's the best investment you can make, man. You take care of your body, it takes care of you, and you need your body. You need your body to do anything you're going to want to do on this planet. So you want to get up, walk around, you want to go do anything, you need your body to do it. So take care of your body. It's the biggest thing. If you guys are looking for BPC 157 or TB 500, any of these different things we're talking about, Titan Medical Center offers it nationwide, you guys. So wherever you guys are at, 727-389-3220. We're not in office today because it's Memorial Day, but we will be there tomorrow, and we do have text messages going. So if you want to contact us via text message,
right? Send the email out. Get that email out today.
Yeah, you can send an email. You can text message us. I mean, you can fill out the new patient paperwork on titanmedicalcenter.com. We'll call you tomorrow, get you all set up. It's super simple and super easy to do. So, a lot of people take advantage of it. It's real easy. I mean, I think most people take advantage of telemedicine. I don't care if they're in state. I don't care if they're upstairs in the building. I've got people, literally, their patients upstairs in the building that won't come downstairs. They want to use telemedicine. So do whatever you want. If you want to use telemedicine, you guys want to come see us, no problem. Either way.
Great. That's great.
Yeah. All right. So one guy asked here, he said, you explain cortisone, but can you explain what BP and TB actually does and how effective are they? Or is it overhyped because that's all we have available? So let me talk about this real quick and then I'll answer Jack's question because it's a good question. So I explained cortisone. BPC and TB 500, they both work kind of the similar way of with angiogenesis. And angiogenesis is when we create new blood cells in the body, blood vessels actually. So the blood vessels get created from TB 500 and BPC 157, where BPC 157 is more site derivative directed, where you want to inject closer to. TB 500 works systemically throughout the body, and it's more for a soft tissue type thing. Both help with inflammation and taking down inflammation almost immediately. So when I wake up in the morning, almost it feels like I have like a frozen shoulder. I try to start moving and rotating, get more blood in there just by doing that. But as soon as I inject BPC and TB 500 in the shoulder, automatically get relief. It's crazy. And there's other things out there I think that you can utilize, but I think these are the best. And that's why a lot of people talk about these things. It's not because they're the only things that we have at our disposal. It's because they're some of the most effective things that we have at our disposal that really true help a lot of people. And it's not just me talking about BPC and TB 500 for the past 8 years. It's everybody else. And there's a reason why. It's because these things, if it truly is what you're getting, is truly effective and truly helps so many different people in so many different ways. So sorry about that. I thought that would be a good explanation for
my eyesight's not the greatest, so I got to go one by one down the protocol here.
No problems.
Go for it.
Hey, Mike, does muscle correlate to strength and vice versa? I don't think this is true, Mike, because I see some people that have more muscle but aren't as strong as somebody that doesn't have as much muscle. But what is your take on this? Because I've seen some guys that are really big. They have great muscle, but they're not as strong as some other people I see. I don't know, that aren't as big. They don't have as much muscle, but you would think that if you have more muscle, you would be stronger.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. Muscle is a visual thing, which is beautiful and artistic and amazing, and I think everybody should have it. Strength comes from your nervous system and the ability to move more weight. Now, the cool thing is you do give a little vice versa. If you do get stronger, you do get a different style of denser muscle as you're getting stronger. So for how I coach people and teach people, I focus on the strength aspect of it. Because if you are getting strong, you will develop muscle. Now, if you're just focused on developing muscle, this is food and good dieting and good training to tear down the fibers and stuff, but you won't get stronger on one aspect. So I always think, and again, remember the questions earlier, everybody? Remember about the deterioration in the back. As we get older, we lose strength. The coolest thing, and again, I wish I know why I was so smart at 20 to realize strength was more important than being the most jacked guy. If I want to lift through my entire life. So again, it goes back to muscle again is beautiful. But real good strength will keep the body as a unit And the side effect is gaining muscle. So I hopefully that you understand that. But to build the strength, the nervous system needs to feel the weight. You need to be able to move up. So your nervous system allows more weight, more weight, more weight.
Right.
So it's a cool process. And like Johnny says, guys, if you ever really want to see this visually, go to a powerlifting meet and watch a 181-pound power lifter move the weights.
Yep.
You will be mind blown on what he looks like and the amount of weight he moves. And then go watch a bodybuilding show of guys that are 260, 70 pounds that can't move half that weight.
Yep.
It's a real cool thing.
Yeah.
So,
it's crazy. It's definitely crazy. I mean, you can definitely look at it and see. It's nuts. So, I mean, muscle's important. Strength's more important for sure. You always want to be stronger. Always.
Yeah. And,
you know,
again, Johnny and me are here for the long haul. So when we talk about this, please take in consideration, this is a given.
Mm-hmm.
We want you to be healthy for life. And I know a lot of you are into the exercise to look good right now and all that stuff. But my best advice and Johnny's best advice right now is for you to be your very best right now, but also you're putting money away for your future.
Yep.
That's how we look at it.
Yep.
You know, it's great. You can be incredible today, but if you're doing damage on top of it today, what will you be in 10 years?
It's true.
We don't want that. We want you to be healthy. And that's why, again, it goes back to Johnny. And one of the biggest things that I thought was amazing about them compared to other companies is the fact of the other companies they're going to pickpocket you right now because they want the money right now. Where Johnny is smart. If I make you healthy, you'll continue to do the small, take care of your health every day for the next 20, 30, 40 years, how long ever you are possibly here. And I think that coincided with my beliefs of what health and fitness is.
You know, I think the other aspect of it too is you know, somebody is just starting something like that. And let's say this company does it and they're like, okay, well, I'll get whatever you told me. And they get the packaging, they're just overwhelmed. And they just don't utilize it then. They just like, well, this is too much for me. And like, you know, and just throw it by the wayside. And then they don't ever start or they don't do things correctly at all. So, you know, there's a couple of downsides to that. And it's like, you know, do the right thing, like I said. And at that point, you got to start somewhere. So, you know, make sure you're taking care of yourself the best you possibly can. And make sure, like I said, somebody's watching over you that you feel comfortable watching over you too as well. Because some places just don't do that correct. At all.
I'm sitting over here going, my gosh, this is incredible news that you just told me also. Just FYI,
yes,
we have to get on a call after this at some point because if Florida allows the possibility of stem cell, wow, that's a game changer. Really game. I'm selling this house and I'm out in Florida.
I'm serious.
Because to be able to optimize your health the very best you can, and then also be able to do something like that, where the individual doesn't have to spend another $5K to fly somewhere, stay somewhere, and be there for a week and everything. It's like, wow, that's really good. Man,
I mean, it's really a game changer. Think about it. You do everything in the United States. There's no, because some people get scared, like, well, I got to go out of the country to do this, right? Or like they have to go to Mexico and like, I'm worried about cartels or this or that. So, you know, being able to do in the United States is more of it's a better credibility factor. Two, they feel a lot more safer for sure. So, you know, obviously I want to get into this as fast as possible, not just for me, but for everybody else. I think it's going to be a game changer. I think it's going to be really good. And hopefully being able to be in the United States, more people doing it, hopefully the price will come down and it'll be a lot more expensive.
Right.
And
it automatically comes down because of the flights and the hotels and so I've been offered a free stem cell, but it's out of the country. It's in a location I'm not comfortable going to, and I'm going. I can't find that kind of time to go take off and do that. And so this is such a game changer. So for everybody out there that has ever thought about doing something like that,
it's true. I eat clean and I'm slowly adding weight and reps with each training session. Just wondered what you'd recommend once I hit the inevitable wall. Keep changing things up, and it's a little bit more food in. At that point, like if you keep changing things up, you're adding, a little bit more food in. If you keep growing, you're going to keep growing. Hopefully, if you keep doing the exact same thing over and over, you will inevitably hit that plateau wall, and you're going to stay there. So, you got to change things up. Mike talks about it all the time. He's got some great programs for you guys.
Yeah, you never hit the wall because as it slows, you're now going, okay, you're working with somebody, and they're saying, okay, now we have to make some changes when it's slowing to speed that back up. And this is for anybody here. If you haven't changed in the last couple of weeks, you're not doing it right.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't changed and you're not getting strong in the last couple of weeks, it should always be minute. It doesn't need to be crazy numbers.
Right.
You should be looking better. Maybe it's just feeling better. Maybe the clothes just fit a little bit better. Yep. But it's always changing, especially you can see things like if you're off season, then you're seeing the strength. You're seeing the strength and the weights are moving. You're getting one more rep here and there. And if you're slicing and dicing, it's more visual that you're going, okay, clothes are fitting differently. Even if the scale doesn't move, it's the visual of it. Because sometimes it's great that the scale doesn't move.
Right.
That means you're dropping the fat and you're retaining that muscle and
right.
It's full. So yeah, you always want to change prior to the wall, plateauing as we call it.
Right. Yeah, it's another one. It's pretty big. It's I guess like these people are talking about hitting walls and stuff like that. Like if you keep moving that needle and keep changing things up, you will never plateau, like Mike said. And I think that's the biggest thing for people to understand. You keep moving, keep doing more volume. If you need to do more volume, add a little bit more weight, keep progressing, and you'll just keep going. Right.
That's a great point. That's
the biggest things. Like a lot of people like call up like, I haven't lost a pound. Right? Because I've seen somebody on here says he's been taking a GLP-1, hasn't lost a pound. But if somebody calls up and say, I haven't lost a pound, immediately the next question should be, well, how are your clothes fitting? And what do you look like in the mirror? Because that's the big gauge, right? If you tell me that, well, my clothes are fitting a lot more loosely, like I needed a belt before and I can't even wear these pants because the belt won't even help. Like, all right, well, we made great strides then at that point. If the clothes are fitting loosely and you're trying to lose weight, then great. Then we're on track. If you look in the mirror, and some people can't get that because they look at themselves every single day and they can't see the change. But then, the other aspect would be like if you go out somewhere and like somebody's like, wow, what are you doing? Or, man, like you look a lot better. Like that right there should be like a compliment. Like, all right, well, I'm getting this positive feedback.
Yeah. Yes.
Things are changing. People are seeing me. So, like I said, like you said, don't just look at the scale. Look at these other variables. And at that point, you look at these other variables, they'll tell you the answer too as well.
Yeah, great points. Hello, Florida. Hello.
We got a lot of Florida. Greens of Florida. Love Florida, baby. It's the best. I'm surprised Florida's allowing stem cells considering how conservative they are. Well, conservative, yes.
Wait a minute. Wow, that doesn't. I'm blown away that you would. He thinks conservatives wouldn't want it.
Right. Conservatives doesn't mean that medical treatments they're conservative. Oh well, it's got to be this way. I mean, honestly, a lot of conservatives are for free trial, basically. Like if you want to try it and you think it's going to help, then at that point they're game for something like that. I think conservatives, especially in the state of Florida, when people start looking at the state of Florida because of Ron DeSantis, our governor, he's against marijuana. He don't want marijuana freely. He don't want people smoking around everybody. That's fine. But if you listen to him and you listen to some of these conservatives here in the state of Florida, they are all about these things and all about helping with medical. They don't want you to be, I guess, like trapped in what you can do and where you can get your meds from. This is another state that has opened up now where they can say, hey, listen, we will accept drugs from Canada or maybe some different countries now. and that aren't FDA approved. So, I think Florida, to be honest with you, in some situations is more progressive than your blue states or your blue governors out there. So, don't just look at one policy and say, well, conservatives are against everything that can be good. I don't think that. I think that, good and bad, maybe they might have, but a lot of it is good as far as medical wise.
I'm guessing I'm not understanding the term conservative then.
Yeah. I mean, conservatives
because I think the left wouldn't want this because they feel that your body should just be able to heal by itself. I don't have to work out. I don't have to eat right kind of attitudes compared to the hard worker, and I thought that was a conservative would be a 9 to 5, or I'm going to put the work in. I'm going to go to the gym and eat right.
Yep.
Do stem cell instead of the drugs.
Yep.
That's my assumption.
Yep.
So I would think like most of my friends would be like, I'm going to eat right instead of taking medication. I'm going to train. I'm going to take care of my responsibilities that my body is, and stem cell is something that would help me continue this instead of doing, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's okay. No, I agree with you.
You don't understand the term correctly enough, so I'm all right with that. I love this one. This one, man, know me. Awesome. I'm a new father, so.
Yes, official GOAT. Our son is only 14 and ranked top 10 QBs in the state. Are there exercises that focus on fast twitch fibers in the shoulder? That's awesome. Congratulations on that. Me and Mike both know how that is with kids, so that's truly something.
Yeah. Go for it. Go for it.
I mean, I would work on explosive exercises and training, especially the QB. One, work on his speed. If you're working on just shoulders and fast twitch fibers in the shoulders, there's a ton of different exercises you can do. Depending on what equipment you have, or even just free weights. I mean, you use free weights, you can use bands on this. I think they're really, really good. There's a couple different exercises, I guess. But I would work on overall conditioning too for your son, and overall speed too as well. A versatile quarterback, man, being able to run and throw is a dangerous combination. So I would work on the whole body, not just fast twitch fibers in the shoulders too as well.
Yeah. He's 14. He's ranked 10. As a father, I am a fan of you, and however this is coming about, and congratulations. You must be incredibly proud.
Mm-hmm.
And I appreciate you being here today on a great day.
Yeah.
He's 14, so I'm going to say a couple things. I would, because he's going through puberty right now, there's always the aspect of mileage. This kid, at this stage is already such an elite. Assume that he's going to be doing this the next 20 years easily, right? And this kid may just be a pro and all that. And so I would keep the weightlifting for what it is, especially at this age. And I would just still try to develop strength as he's going through puberty. And I wouldn't go an overabundance of using weightlifting to trigger the fast twitch. I would keep him with his coaches and his quarterback coaches and work the fast twitch and release with them, and not worry so much about the isolation and utilization of weightlifting to do fast twitch. He's just growing so much right now at 14 to 16, and he's going to change so much. And so just the mileage, he's going to be throwing so much. The worst thing we could do at this stage is just an overload to him. I think just slow the work each day, and staying like that is my opinion. Again, when you weightlift to do fast twitch, it's a lot of explosion off the bottom, right? It's a snap. Right. So, yeah, I would just really talk to his coaches. I don't want to give any recommendations here, except I don't think we need to add more to what he's already doing, in the sense it just needs to be categorized. He's coaching, the quarterback coach is teaching him, and Johnny knows this from baseball. He's got his son who's right around the same age with his coaches. Weightlifting, strength, so he can be strong enough to get hit, because he's going to get hit, and then keep him separated in some sense. But it's up to your coaches, Johnny.
The other biggest thing I would focus on is recovery. Teaching your son recovery at this age, icing the shoulder, being able to stretch out the shoulder. Saunas, if you want to do cold plunge, whatever you want, work on recovery with your kid. That's the biggest thing that I think a lot of kids they don't worry about, because they can bounce back so easily, right?
Yeah, they're 5 minutes. They're Wolverine, right?
You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's the biggest thing, especially like, when I went with Peter. The other thing is growth plates. Obviously I learned this with Peter too as well, like making sure he's not throwing too much, because the growth plates, there can be, where basically there's like Peter, what he had was basically like he had a fracture in his growth plate. It doesn't mean that he fractured his arm or anything like that. And it wasn't permanent damage, but it caused him pain. And there was a fracture in the growth plate because the growth plates are still open to a certain age. Usually it's 16 for guys. And at that point, once it closes, then you don't have to worry about that problem ever again. But it's making sure that he's not throwing too much. Recovery's there. He's listening to his body. And then, bands. So bands are the biggest thing I would say for any athlete that's going to throw. Bands are not putting a whole bunch of weight on the arm. You're not doing anything like that, but you're stretching the bands out. If you look at a good baseball player, even football, right? They all usually do bands, especially baseball, because football is more of that throw is a lot more natural to the body to throw a football than it is a baseball.
Oh, wow.
It really is. So like when you throw a football, like you're releasing and you're coming right by your ear and you're throwing it like this, right?
Right.
Where you're throwing everything towards it. And in baseball, you're kind of doing that, but you're coming from a side angle, and some people have different paths with their arms, and this could cause different strains in the arms and shoulders. So usually a football player is the exact same, right by the ear.
I got you.
But there's different paths for
So
baseball.
we're both kind of agreeing, though, that
I don't think you should
overdo it.
No, definitely not. That's
I
the
love
biggest
that.
thing. Don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. Stick to recovery. Stick to the bands. Don't stick to a whole bunch of weight. And
So that coincides with what I'm saying. Just
of course,
as a father, we want to try to do as much as we can. But if you don't move away from developing the strength for him right now, because the next 2 years, man, he's going to grow, like Johnny's saying. And we keep the weightlifting for weightlifting and nervous system and strength so he can move up to the next level.
right.
And then just don't overdo it. It's a tough one, because I know as a father and your son is ranked, top 10.
That's huge.
Wow, that's
huge.
At 14, it's a tough one. How do we chill? Go look at my latest post on IG. I have Titan doing squats. Very lightweight, nothing really there. And it's not so much that I'm having him do squats relative to I have bands and what are those things? Chains and bands and stuff on them. Kettlebells. Because I want him to work stabilization and explosion out of the bottom.
Yep.
So I'm trying to still allow him to grow, do his thing, but there's side effects of the other stuff. It's like, so.
You got the bamboo bar too, right? You let him use the bamboo bar?
Right.
That's awesome.
Right. And so and when he walks, you could see him correct it. And I don't spot him. So if he, little stuff, how do you rack it? Are you paying attention? Are you focused? Are you in this? It's such a small little thing instead of, most people would be looking at it going, oh, you're having them squat. No, I'm just having them be present.
Right.
Understand how the body can move.
Right.
You don't need to go downward to explode up, because no athlete does. Everybody thinks that you got to train like this. And it's like, no, you train from a stop position, explode. Explode. And so taking the negative down slow, and then with one move, pop up. So, man, will you do me a favor? As a father, I would like to go on this journey with you and your son. who is ranked 10th in the top 10. And will you please feel free to tag me on IG or Facebook or wherever you do posts, or your son does posts.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Opinion on steroids. Listen,
I think John's going to have a big answer for this. I'm just going to say real quick and jump out of this one is 100% whatever the blood work says that you need to do.
Yeah.
100% whatever the blood work says you need to do. If the blood work says that you're fine, absolutely not.
Mhm.
If the blood work says that you're hurting yourself and you're deteriorating, 100% do.
Right.
So your answer to steroids is, what does your blood work say?
Yeah.
Johnny, take that. Run with it.
Yeah. Opinion on steroids. I love this. So it kind of goes back to the conversation we had earlier. There's different types of steroids. What are we talking about here? Cortical, or are you talking about anabolic? And most people are talking about anabolic when they think of steroids. So listen, certain steroids have certain places in what we need, right? There's certain steroids I don't think that we really don't need, or don't have as much benefit, much reward compared to negative effect that it could have to your body. When we talk about certain steroids we have in our body already. We have anabolic steroids in our body like testosterone, males and females across the board. If you need it, then it definitely is something that you should look at, right? If you're low on testosterone, you have a whole bunch of symptoms, then I think testosterone would be a great fit. I know it will be, right? When we talk about somebody, and I seen somebody on here earlier who was going back and forth about it. When we talk about like Anadrol, and like Anadrol, like putting muscle on and stuff like that. Anadrol is something that, you know, it is prescribed medically, you know, but it's prescribed to like female patients that have anemia. That's what the drug was made for. What it does is it just increases red blood cell count through the roof. So that's why.
Am I wrong? Is Anadrol was used early on for burn patients?
No, that was oxandrolone.
Okay. All
right. Anadrol, I guess, could be, but I mean, Anadrol really doesn't. It doesn't really. It's anabolic as hell, right? It is anabolic as hell, but usually oxandrol was made for burn patients. Anadrol was made for female patients specifically that had anemia. Like that was the most like. That is what it's medically like prescribed for. If it's prescribed, and I don't even think it's prescribed like that anymore. If it is, it's a very minimal use across the board of what people are using. But you know, I mean, there's different steroids for different things. Like, you know, I mean, you have different things. I mean, you have stanozol. Stanozol is still prescribed out there, very rarely, but it's still prescribed, and that can be from anything from vitamin deficiencies to other things. So, you know, you can utilize some of these different things, but do I think that all steroids are good? No. Do I think that steroids can have an impact on your life and your health if they're abused or used wrongly? Absolutely. So the whole point is to use these things for a benefit and not use these just to tool up and have a negative effect on your health. And that's the thing. I think that testosterone, if used properly, is monitored properly, is a great tool. I think that decanoandrolone could be another great tool that's an anabolic steroid. Do I think that oxandrolone needs to be used for weight loss patients? Absolutely not. Do I think that Anadrol should be used, or so oxymethylone or methylone, so primobolan or Anadrol? I don't think that either one of these should be used. I really don't. I think there's better things out there. So if you're looking at steroids and you're thinking that steroids are going to be your ultimate end all be all and they're going to get you the result by just taking them, absolutely not. And you better think to yourself that everything has some sort of downside, one way or the other. It does, especially if you abuse things. So if you're going to abuse steroids, if you want to play, you're going to have to pay one way or the other. So that price could be paid in your life, or it could be paid in bad health, or other things too as well. So like
I thought a good follow-up, and we'll finish out on this one, is a beautiful comprehension of the Dunning-Kruger effect. And again, a Dunning-Kruger effect is that it explains that you have to be intelligent enough in the aspect that you're doing something to understand how dumb you are in that thing. So it has to coincide. And so I thought, the last guy that asked the question, what do you think of steroids? Most likely he doesn't know much. And so he doesn't realize it helps individuals that aren't functioning correct. Yeah. And this one's also a great one because this is the common sense of an individual for most people. The question earlier in the conversation today was squats or leg press, and mine was squats. Yep. Because it's a natural body movement. It's a position that you're going to want to do. And then the side effects from that is it stresses the body, so your body gets stronger. It gives you a better range of motion so you can stay active longer. And now this gentleman says, I would go leg press because you could do it for a lifetime. Now that's a common sense person that doesn't comprehend. No, it doesn't work that way. That's what's great about this. You can go half and do a partial and you're going to deteriorate away because of the fact that you didn't do the full range squat or the movement of the squat. And so his assumption is, I'll do the easier of the two because then you can do it for a lifetime, not realizing you're weakening the body. Yep. You're not stressing the back, the nervous system in a deeper way for the whole body to grow. And so I get wanting to believe half-assing something allows you to do it for a lifetime, but that's not how the world works. That's not how the body functions. The body functions, and we all know this, by stressing it to make it stronger, longer. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work by babying the body. You get weaker and deteriorate away. So I get the idea, but that's not how it works, my friend.
It's like the Conan effect. When he's walking around that pillar for those years and he keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger because he's stressing the body, he keeps doing it. Same thing.
So just for anybody out there that goes, wait a minute, that can't be true. What I want you to do is take a second to learn. Go read Wolff's Law. Go read Davis' Law. Mm-hmm. Wolff's Law is the understanding of bones, and the stress to bones make bones stronger. Davis' Law is the stress to ligaments, and by stressing them, how they become cables almost, in that mindset of a superhero, becomes stronger. And that's why by stressing it, wrestlers, man strength, can tear up a 250-pound muscle man because his ligaments are so strong, the density of him. Yep. So I would think for everybody here today, this would make you happy knowing, I don't have to grow old like everybody else and deteriorate away. No. That's why I'm talking to Johnny today. That's why we're taking today's, I know for most it's a holiday, but for us, we're in this, we're going because we want you guys to understand you can get better. You can get healthier. Johnny, give us a closing statement, my man. Please let us know what's going on this week over at Medical. We have
so blood testing. I know we're doing extending the sale for one more week. Obviously, June's right around the corner, so last week of May it's coming up. I'm gonna see what else we're offering as far as special wise. I know Sharice is working on that today, to be honest with you. So I know blood's special though. So if you guys are looking for blood work to see what's going on, right now is your time. What is it? I've never even heard of this discount ever. So she's doing this for the first time. So this is exciting.
Talk to us.
10% off all growth hormone releasing peptides. So if you want testosterone,
testosterone, right?
Testosterone, CJC, MK, mastosterone, any of these or any muscle building therapies is getting 10% off this week till Friday. So that's huge. That's really huge. We've never done that special ever. So if you guys are looking to look at one of the growth releasing hormone peptides like CJC, testosterone, MK, mastosterone, This is your
Can
time.
you take a second, real quick, just to kind of tell them so they can make a decision a little bit on what tesamorelin
Sure.
or whichever your top three would be?
Yeah. So, I mean, my top three growth hormone releasing hormone peptides, tesamorelin, I'll name four: tesamorelin, MK, CJC with IPA, and now masamorelin. So let's talk about them. Tesamorelin is probably at the top of that list. Tesamorelin is your ultimate bad boy. It raises your own growth hormone in your body. So it stimulates your own pituitary to raise your own growth hormone. So this will raise your growth hormone levels, increasing IGF-1 levels, which will increase recovery, has anti-aging properties, and will overall help with lean muscle mass, losing weight, and overall better quality of life. The other thing that it does that separates it from all the other ones is it targets visceral belly fat. So the belly fat that is around your stomach, that surrounds your vital organs, it's the bad fat in your body. This will actually start attacking that to start getting rid of the visceral fat. So it works in two great ways right there. MK677 is an oral GHRH, so it's a capsule. And this is something you can take that will raise your growth hormone levels too as well, and will stimulate your ghrelin, your hunger hormone. So if you're looking to add more calories in the diet, if you're looking to really grow and you want to raise growth hormone levels, you want to increase, recovery and all these great things, MK in a capsule. The third one, CJC with ipamorelin. This is actually two different peptides that are combined in one vial for you to get best results. These work synergistically together to help raise growth hormone levels and to help you feel better, look better, perform better. They don't stimulate as much as CJC or MK, but they work very well and they work for a long time. So you could stay on CJC and IPA for a long extended period of time. MK is like maybe 90 days. You get off for a month and you can go back on. Tesamorelin, it's a long time. You can stay on it forever if you wanted to. And then we go to masamorelin. So masamorelin is the other oral GHRH. It's another capsule, and it works by stimulating your pituitary again. Now, this works just like MK as far as stimulating growth hormone levels, but it does not increase the hunger effect like MK. So if you're looking for an oral GHRH and you don't want to do an injection, but you don't want to stimulate hunger, then masamorelin is going to be the option for you. Now, if you don't know what's going to be the best option for you, you really have no idea, then at that point, what you're going to do is you're going to call, or you can even text us. You can text us today, the exact same number, 727-389-3220, and you're going to ask us, and we'll set you up with a consultation so we can find out and we can have our medical providers personalize a regimen for you, which will be your best options, lay those best options out and go through them with you, be able to pick one, and then get you on a regimen to get you the results and everything that you're looking for.
A side note from me when it comes to finance, there's a 10% discount. Mm-hmm. My recommendation to anybody out there is the MK. Now, MK is probably my favorite of the IGF, and it is out of those, I think, one of those that it's a little financial, and so if there's a 10% discount, this is the time I would do my order on that.
Absolutely.
So I will personally get some right now because that again is something. Wow, MK for me again is one of my. It's my number one. It's my number one. So just a FYI, discount is always great, but everything we gave you today, all the information Johnny gave you, it doesn't do anything unless you make the call.
Yeah.
It does nothing. It's great. It's good information in the ear, out the other ear. But the coolest thing about this, and the reason I'm still here, is because Johnny, over this last couple of years, has been able to optimize my body to function at its best. So again, I minimize the decline the very best I can. And at some point, maybe you need help. And you don't know again until you do the blood work. Mm-hmm. So do the blood work. You have nothing to lose by being talking to somebody with your own blood work and saying, am I okay or can I get better? And Johnny's there to go, here's your lift. This is where we're at.
That's right.
It's incredible, guys. You don't realize what you're looking at here when you see Johnny and what he's created over there, and his team and his savage of a wife. Again, nothing helps unless you make it happen yourself. We can only give you this information.
You got to utilize it.
Johnny, you good?
I'm good, man. I appreciate it.
No, don't let me. I need to know this before you take off. Mission Impossible.
It was really, really good. Really, really good. Like, really good. Like, that's what I'm saying. Tom Cruise, man. I mean,
he's our last.
Seriously. I just can't believe, just some of the stunts that he does still. Like, he did the stunt on the airplane. And when you see the actual, like, scene, you're like, holy shit. Like, I mean, you got to give it to the guy. The guy is, he's been around forever. He's done so many iconic movies. And even just thinking about the Mission Impossible franchise alone, I mean, you're talking about what, 7, 8, and then there's 2 parts to a couple of them. I mean, man, he's really knocked it out of the park. It's hard to take a franchise that far and that long to do that many movies and keep people still interested, still coming to the box office and spending the money.
I lived through that guy. I
seriously
absolutely love his mindset, his approach, his dedication. I love that he also. We have dyslexia in common.
Yeah.
And I learned how to read scripts because he explained how he does it. And so I'll definitely go check that out. And again,
you're gonna love it.
Man, I'm excited to see that. I will check in with you later today because we have so much to catch up on.
For sure.
A crazy couple weeks.
For sure. I can't wait, dude. I can't wait. I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys so much. Bye, brother.
Hey, 10% discount over there. So make the call, get your blood work done, regardless of anything else. Don't do anything if you don't want to. Just find out, though, right? Find out. We're going to go live. We're going to continue this bad boy. We're going to go over and get a chest workout in right now. It's another great week here. So much going on. Slicing and dicing. Also, we'll get a Titan check-in this week. And so I'll put the information down on this next one, but the Titan check-in for you guys that need to make sure that you're staying ahead of your plateaus. You don't understand why your strength isn't going up. You don't understand why you're not dropping body fat. You're trying to work around injuries. You're really just trying to set yourself up. And Jeffrey made a great one too, a father and son's kind of training. How can you start training and maybe get your kids in there with you? And again, without hurting them, without setting them up to fail. I got my son here that I just found out about. All right. We'll see you guys in a bit.